Today what we're going to do, we have a 1991 Honda Fourtrax. The hubs and the axles are wore out as far as the splines. The one on the right side just spins. Well, it did just spin. I actually welded both of the hubs onto the shaft because I knew I was going to be replacing the shaft, so the shaft wasn't no good anyway. But I welded them on there until we could get the parts in, and today we got the axle, we got the hubs. Probably part two will be the rest of it, putting it back together. I got new nuts and everything coming, so but we're going to remove the axle today, and fairly straightforward, little grunt work. I did do some prep work, sprayed the bolts, broke them all loose, or most of them, just so I could save a little time and you wouldn't have to sit here and listen to me grunt, groan, and cuss at rusty bolts. So let's get to it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, earlier you got castle nuts here on the end of each axle. Of course, the cotter pin goes through there once it's tight. I removed the cotter pin, removed the castle nut. Those are going to be replaced, and I did that on both sides. I actually loosened up. There's a retaining nut here, there's a flange nut here that goes up against this plate and this washer. These can be a real pain, especially if you've been in a lot of water, a lot of mud. You know, we got a little bit of mud down here in the skid plate, which is not unusual, but we haven't used this one for much, but pulling deer out of the woods, pulling logs out of the woods, putting up tree stands, and you know, we don't race it, we don't run it in the mud a whole lot, but so it's not in too bad a shape, I'm hoping. These nuts weren't too bad to get off, but I just thought I'd save a little time. Pipe wrench, probably the best way to get them off. You might have to get a cheater bar. I had to get a cheater bar on the other side. This side here come off pretty easy, but you can hit it with a hammer. You can get a longer cheater bar, get a little more leverage on them. You just back them off these fine threads. It seems like it takes forever. So I'm going to fire up the grinder and with the cutoff wheel and cut both of these off. I'm going to go ahead and save these. I didn't order any of these washers, so just the nuts and stuff to put it back together, because everything else looks like it's in pretty good shape. So I'll apologize for the noise. Hopefully we'll get these off real quick. That's why we wear the face shield. Cutting wheel broke. Flew across the room, so you got to be careful. All right, we're back. New wheel. Here we go. And off we go. So now that we got them off, we can pull a regular nut, our flange nut. You want to keep them somewhat order here. Flange nut always goes on the inside. And same way over here. Regular nut, flange nut. Just going to set them under there. You can tell how bad a shape that one was in. This one wasn't too awful bad, I guess. It's still gripped and still turned. Of course, there's the castle nut. What we're going to do here, we're going to pull these spacers off. Maybe. Pull the little one, pull the big one. I'm going to finish taking this shield off so I can get it out of my way. See a pack full of mud. At least it's dry. Got that off. We'll go ahead and break these loose. Little 8mm bolts. There's 6 of them on the brake drum here, or the cover for the brake drum. In case you're wondering, yes, I do have some air tools, but I was raised in an era where you really didn't have them. So, kind of old school sometimes. My own worst enemy. I work harder to do it, but it's alright. The enjoyment's much better than the noise. My book. really need it. Makes a man lazy sometimes, you know what I mean? A lot of people say, well, why would you want to sit there and fight it? Well, what else have I got to do? If I had something better to do, I probably wouldn't be doing this video, would I? I'll be out hunting. A little warm and windy today, so today's a good day to tear this down. If you can hear that lawnmower. Next door neighbor's mowing outside the garage there, so well, I got the door shut. Otherwise that breeze would probably feel pretty good. But Grandpa would say these are long-winded bastards. Rest his soul. Yeah, sounds like the motor done. So, got one more down here on the bottom. Of course, it's the one that's been in the mud the most, so you don't want to play nice. All right, get that out of the way. Give me a small screwdriver here, a little slot there to try to get that broke loose. There we go. And we're sliding on. Don't look too bad in there. Now, see what we can do here. Find just space and walk it off of there. I keep my brake drum together. Oh, mercy. Cleanest part's the worst part. That's all that about. There we go. So, that's also splined. So, go over to the other side. What we can accomplish here. Small washer. Where'd my hammer go? rubber ring goes in there. Another little seal. Keep the dirt out. She's going to be stubborn all the way. And she broke loose. There's a bearing. Goes on the shaft. Pull her out of there. Another rubber seal on this side. Throw it under there. So we know where it goes. And that's what we got so far. So once we get the nuts in, the castle nuts and the flange nut and the retaining nut, and get those parts in here pretty soon, hopefully in another day or so, we'll have part 2, and we'll put this thing back together. But that's basically all it is. Like I said, you can save yourself a lot of trouble if you spray them with Tri-Flow, spray them with the knocker loose or anything like that you can. Let them soak for a while, day or two, even better, and make it easy on yourself. So we'll get to part 2 as soon as we get the parts in, and hopefully get this thing back where we can get her out in the woods. Thanks for tuning in.